Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Good morning, DFW. What a beautiful, I want to call it a spring day, but it's not even spring. It just feels like it is. We've got a jam-packed show. We're going to be talking about how to get rich. We're going to be talking about the latest in interior design. We're going to be talking about how to make money in commercial real estate and why the world is buzzing about a man named Mosquito Steve. But first, we're going to talk about Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. My guest right now is Richard Davis, and he has been a longtime friend, a good friend of the show, and he is the Dallas County Extension Director for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, Jeff.
So this is, when people hear 4-H, when they hear AgriLife Extension, I think everybody thinks Green Acres. They think rural Texas. But your job is really to bring some of that education into the inner city. Am I right?
That's correct. Actually, it's worse than that. People haven't even heard of Extension very much. They've heard of 4-H. They think it has to do with livestock and so forth. They don't know all of the aspects of youth development that we engage in. So Extension is a big deal. Agricultural extension exists in every state in the nation, every county in every state. So we have extension programs in all 254 counties in Texas. We actually have 251 offices, and we serve the other 3 counties from 2 other offices. But yes, extension exists in every county in the nation, and I happen to be the director for Dallas County. So our job is to provide extension services, and we can talk about what that is, for 2.5 million citizens in Dallas County.
Wow. Well, one of the things that we've been talking about off the air is the idea of what is happening in South Dallas, and I'm going to call it a South Dallas miracle.
Yes, sir.
Because there are food deserts. Why don't we start by explaining a food desert? What does that mean?
Actually, I was with a couple of colleagues out at the Harry Stone Montessori School in South Dallas yesterday, meeting with a principal and some of her staff who want to have a student garden on the campus. Food desert is a place where there are not many stores that provide fresh produce. There are not many people who can afford to go beyond their neighborhood. There are not a lot of markets, but there's land and there's labor. So we go in using the best research with Texas A&M AgriLife Research Department, providing education to the citizens, adults, and youth, teaching them how to develop gardens with raised beds, building irrigation systems, using the manpower from their community, whether it be educators, people from churches and neighborhoods. We teach them how to raise gardens and provide food. With 4-H, we also teach the entrepreneurial part where kids can learn to market food and sell it to make money for their schools.
I think that is so cool. So what is the reaction when you go into a community, an urban community, and you're trying to get kids excited about agriculture? Do you find that they roll their eyes and say, why would I need that? Or do they get excited?
Well, here's what we're finding. In Dallas County, there are 26 cities and municipalities. Most of the extension programs have been done around the periphery of the county, like Mesquite, let's say DeSoto, that have ag departments, Richardson, Garland. But in the inner city, where most of the residents live, 87% of the U.S. population live in urban areas. And so while extension is more prolific and understood in rural areas and even some suburban areas, in the inner city, students have never heard of any aspect of it. They don't have land. They don't have cattle, so the ag part is off the charts. But for 4-H youth development, we have programs called Learn, Grow, Eat, Go, which is a national program. And this is where we teach students to learn about plants and horticulture, to grow it, then eat it, and become healthy. We have a family and consumer science program that deals with health and wellness, obesity, diabetes. We have a 4-H youth development program that deals with developing social skills, dealing with robotics, photography, entomology, and it's a very comprehensive program. So when we go in and talk to schools and youth about building a garden, this is very exciting to them because they think milk comes from the store, and we have cattle there. They can see the milking process. They think tomatoes come from the store, and they can see it growing on the vine. In fact, they become so possessive of it, they don't want to pull it off the vine to eat it because they thought they just built it to look at because it's pretty. But it's really getting kids to understand how to raise healthy food. And we have about 20 different gardens, community gardens and school gardens that we've developed of late in schools. We have about 22 other gardens through our Master Gardener program, demonstration gardens and orchards and cultural gardens. So we're on the move helping students to become more engaged in healthy eating.
Well, there's a very famous story that some of the listeners may be aware of at Paul Quinn College, where the football team wasn't much, if non-existent, and so they actually plowed under the football field in a Texas school where football is almost a religion.
Yeah.
And what did they do?
They created new balls. They're called tomatoes and squash and watermelon. But no, we're working with Dr. Sorrells, the president of Paul Quinn College. We've sent out our horticulture agent. We've sent out our ag and natural resources agent to work with them. There's a big farm there. They have created so much produce, it's gone to waste. We're going to teach them how to harvest it, how to keep it alive, how to have reliable growth.
And as I understand it, the happy ending to that story is that you have some kind of foo-foo restaurants, some high-end restaurants in Dallas that are actually using the food from Paul Quinn College.
Absolutely.
And serving it to their high-end customers.
That's right. Restaurants in downtown and on that southern sector of town are actually getting that produce and using it in their stores. But a football field is a large area, and that's a lot of produce.
Right.
And so a lot of it's going to waste. So we're going to work with them, and they've hired a farming specialist now through our council at Paul Quinn, and they're going to really be able to send that produce to some of the communities, not only to stores, but in the community. And that's happening with churches. We just visited, when we were at the Harry Stone School, a preacher came, Reverend Nolan, came to the meeting, and he was invited to a luncheon which you attended. Mm-hmm. And he had 7 acres on his property and wanted us to go and help them build a community garden to provide food both for the church and for residents. We visited another church in even more south of Dallas that has an ex-offenders program. They want us to help them develop a garden so that they can get ex-offenders of all ages, of all ethnic groups, involved in growing food and selling it. So it's a unique program that can happen all over the county.
I think it's so cool. My guest again, Richard Davis. He is the Dallas County Extension Director for Texas A&M AgriLife Extension. So, how can people get involved? I mean, what do you need right now? Is it just awareness, or how can people support what you're doing?
Absolutely. Well, we have a local office in Dallas. We actually have 2 offices. We have the district office, happens to be in Dallas, up on Coit Road. And then we have a local office on Marsh Lane. In that office, I have a space there, and all of our agents, horticulture, agriculture, urban youth development, 4-H, and family and consumer science agents. We also work with the Prairie View agents, who I also manage, that are in our office. And we're able to work with volunteers. So what we need is volunteers to call in who want to be engaged. Our agents train volunteers. They can be licensed, certified master gardeners, master naturalists, master wellness specialists, dealing with all aspects of extension. And once we train them, they go out and work with the community. So if you're interested, you can look us up, Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, choose Dallas County, or you can look up our phone number. We have a Master Garden Help Desk that's available for any questions you might have regarding anything related to anything.
Wow, this is amazing, and I definitely want to have you back on my show because the success stories that you and your program are growing, pardon the pun, are just so inspiring. Richard Davis, again, what's the website?
Just Texas A&M AgriLife. You can just look up Texas A&M AgriLife.
Okay.
And we have a phone number.
Please, give
214-904-3050.
That number again.
214-904-3050.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being a guest on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you so much.
All right. When we come back, he combines a little bit of crazy with a little bit of unconventional with pulp fiction. We'll explain next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
You're listening to The Jeff Crilley Show on Talk Radio 1190.